Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Married to Medicine, Season 11, Episode 13.
I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. I think we just watched Sweet Tea get fired on TV.
Ooh.
I listen here. This kind of give me a resemblance of what happened last year with Quad, right? Where the group met behind one. Everybody was together, even the new cast member, except for one of the ones that was there previous season. Mm-hmm. And they talking about you, and you're the main topic, talking about how you need to show up and be accountable. You ready, Blair?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
So Toya asks if Eugene checked on the guys.
Yeah.
He hasn't checked on them because he thinks he needs to give everyone a little bit of space to cool down.
That's how guys are.
Greg apparently said that, Eugene was thinking, when it comes to Greg, you keep poking the bear. Like, what do you expect? Mm-hmm. So Quad visits Heavenly. The group is divided. Heavenly says maybe T and Greg need some time away from the group. She knows now that they all cannot occupy the same space.
You know now? Like, it's so funny how whenever somebody do something dirty or whenever they get their hands dirty, the minute that it blows up in their face, they try to do this as quick as possible.
Exactly.
No. You knew that they couldn't occupy the whole space. That's why, like, whole time when I'm talking to y'all in the comments, I don't understand what show y'all been watching, to be honest. I've been watching since season 1, right? Greg and Quad never had a loving marriage, at least not on TV. They always been arguing at each other, poking at each other. So when I saw them going at it at the retreat, at the resort and things like that, that's what we seen in their marriage.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So don't try to make it seem like they couldn't divide the same space, that they couldn't operate in the same space. They couldn't operate in the same space when they was married.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm not buying it.
Yeah. So Toya and Eugene's 16th anniversary is coming up. She wants to bring everyone together for some type of ball. Eugene says Quad and Greg always know how to push each other's buttons, and the ability is still there.
Of course.
Until that gets healed, they're going to stay in this problem area.
Do you think there's a such thing as being healed? I think some things are like, hey, how about we just don't be in the same room?
I think you can be healed, but you have to heal separately, and you can't see that person again.
Okay.
It's like I could be healed, but having you around is definitely going to cause some irritation and some friction. So for some people, you just don't need to be around them, especially an ex-wife or ex-husband. Y'all really should not be in the same friend group. Like, it's really unnecessary.
And based on what we heard from the show, they haven't seen each other since the divorce. The first time that they've seen each other is on this set of the show. So I think, like, healing, let's start with, hey, do I run into you at all?
Yeah.
And what is my reaction when I run into you? So I think the first time that they see each other, or the first couple of times that they see each other, is when Dr. G is getting married. The next thing you know, the next time they see each other is when Quad got a new boyfriend. It just comes off as if they was purposely poking the bear. And guess what? Don't try to make it seem like these are not seeds that you did not plant, Dr. Heavily, Dr. Simone, Dr. Jackie, as the leaders of the show and things of that nature. Guess what? Don't wipe your hands clean now. You get what I'm saying? Deal with it.
So Quad thinks that we should focus on the girl friendship. Heavenly doesn't want to. But Quad says nothing messy, just a girlfriend's check-in. And Heavenly asks, so who's going to come? You know, Phaedra doesn't fool with y'all and is probably not going to come. Yeah. And Quad says Phaedra abandoned the group, so she won't get an invite, and neither will Sweet Tea.
Of course not. I really don't understand this whole idea of inviting Phaedra to the show. I get the premise of it. Maybe it was from Heavenly's idea from the beginning, or maybe the producer's idea. We get Phaedra on there so we can get drama with her and Apollo, because it honestly made no sense for Apollo to even come to the reunion last year. It didn't, because he wasn't on the show last year. You get what I'm saying? So even when I think they even threw a birthday party for Phaedra's son in her backyard, and Apollo was not there. Right. So I really don't understand why they over here trying to make Phaedra be accountable. She hasn't been accountable since y'all recruited her to be on the show, right? Y'all went for big name, no substance. I never knew Phaedra to be someone that has substance in any show that she's on. I think she's all name. I think that Phaedra did a really good job in Traitors. Okay. And I think that with her work on Traitors and just how loved she was, and how she was kind of like a blast from the past in a way, like I think Andy, and probably production and other people as well, but you know, Andy's the one who's front facing. So I think Andy really wanted to find a way to work her back into the fold. And of course she couldn't be on
Atlanta with Candy on Atlanta because they was going to lose Candy and everything associated with her. So they found a spot for her on Married to Medicine, which didn't make sense, but she lives in Atlanta, so she can come to filming and do stuff with the ladies, you know, and kind of bring that presence back to Bravo because she was big on Traders. She was. Yeah. So everyone makes it to the dance class. We have, of course, Toya and Eugene, Contessa and Scott, Heavenly and Damon, Simone and Cecil, Jackie and Curtis, and Anila and Dr. Kieran.
Good seeing them again.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised Toya's still friends with her.
Yeah. So she invites them all to the ball and she says, you know, we do have to find a way to get Quad, King, T, and Dr. Greg all here and Phaedra. But she's not really too concerned about Phaedra.
Yeah, she's not concerned about Phaedra at all.
Contessa says, well, you know, there might be a restraining order for attempted assault. And everyone is shocked and they think that's crazy because King never touched the man. Yeah. Contessa says Greg sees things differently. He feels like he was minding his own business and King came over to attack him.
Oh, okay, Greg.
Dr. Damon did not see it like that. When you say something, you have to live with it, and he takes King's side. Any man's duty is to defend your wife or your lady. Okay. Eugene says we all might just kind of remember things differently, and Heavenly asks him, so if a man said that to LaToya or talked to LaToya that way, what would you do? And Eugene said it would be a problem. He already has a plan to talk to Dr. G. After that meeting, they might try to see if King and Dr. G can sit down and talk.
Well, when it comes to Dr. Damon, his opinion don't really matter because we know him and Dr. G have some type of like riff. Right. You get what I'm saying? Because, you know, you got Dr. Damon referring patients to Dr. G and Dr. G turned them away because of what his wife said. So I understand the logic of what people are saying when it comes down to, hey, if somebody is physically or even verbally assaulted my wife, I'm going to stand up for my wife. But I think out of all the parties involved, the one that had the least amount of information was King, right? And to basically quiet to say after the fact, because I don't know if you picked this up, when she was talking to Heavenly, she was like, I'm not going to put King in a dangerous situation. I'm not going to put him in a situation to where he have to defend me. She should have said again. Do you get what I'm saying? Because her going back and forth with her ex-husband, I would say, hey, I say it's easier to control yours than to control somebody else's. It's easier for me to be like, hey, boo, let's just let it go than to try to demand an apology from another man. Listen here, Dr. Greg, however he saw the circumstance or the situation, talk about he was quiet and things of that nature. I saw you smoking on that cigar, Dr. Greg. Yeah. I saw you push yourself up and get up and walk him over. Hey, man, listen here, man. You get what I'm saying? My ex-wife, your new girlfriend, she ain't this, man. You get what I'm saying? So, like, listen, everybody got their own POV of the story. Right. The truth of the matter is that they should not be in the same room. Toya, I understand this is your anniversary and you want, you want you to be the main focus, but I think there is a such thing as I'm going to bow out. Yeah. I know you're saying we go put you on one side of the room and put them on the other side of the room, and why would somebody want to feel that way to be isolated to the east wing of the room and things like that? We don't get along. Yeah. So guess what? You have to choose who you want to invite. Are you going to invite Dr. Greg and Sweet Tea, or are you going to invite Quad and King? Yeah. It really just comes down to that for me. Yeah.
I guess for me, like, if I was Toya in this position, I'm not trying to figure out how to get grown people in the same room. Facts. I'm inviting who I want to, and whoever shows up, shows up. Now, if you really want to make sure there's no drama at your party, then pick a side. But if you want to make sure everyone's invited and feels welcome to attend your event, then do just that, and then I guess you got to leave it up to chance.
Yeah. I think the only issue I have with Toya is that I don't think she's accepting people's answer. It's like with your suggestion, I think you are inviting everybody and letting them be basically, you can lord over whatever choice you have. She's not accepting their answer. Right. In the sense of, they're like, yeah, I'm not going to be part of that. What you mean? We need to be mature. You just saw one man charge another man on the beach. You saw Quad basically do Baywatch, where Sweet Tea did Baywatch all the way from the east side of the beach. And you talking about we can be mature and be on one side of the room and the other person be on the other side of the room? No, Toya, I'm sorry.
Your tensions are too high for that.
You got Dr. G over here snapping at Sweet Tea when she ain't do nothing. She over here talking about, I ain't gonna let you die, Greg. I'm not gonna let you die. I ain't gonna let nobody beat you up. And he over there talking about, you so naive. It's like everybody's catching it. Yeah, we're catching it with Dr. Greg's song, which we're gonna get to eventually. But it's just like, let people like eject themselves from situations.
But I think part of that is that it's a show as well, and we know Married to Medicine is always on this last leg unfairly because it's such a good show.
I got a question about that too, but go ahead.
But I feel like with Toya, like, you know, of course she wants everyone to come to her party, but I think it's more of a thing of we have to be unified to keep this thing going, you know, like we can't be one of those shows where there's all these divisions and cracks and people start getting iced out and falling to the wayside, and that makes the show awful, you know. So I think it's a lot more behind it.
Yeah, and my only question about them being on the last leg or that being expressed, there's no shows that's being viewed with high numbers anymore because people are cutting the cord. You get what I'm saying? Everybody is choosing to watch it on their own time or choosing not to watch it, choosing to watch clips. So it's not like Potomac, the show before them, is doing so well before Married to Medicine. I think that Sunday night slate is all bad, to be honest, in my opinion.
But I think it comes more so from the network and what they prioritize. I don't know how many people watch Southern Charm, but that thing's coming on all the time, 2 times a year or whatever. Southern Charm Winter House and Southern Charm this and that and all this type of stuff. I don't watch that show. I watched Martha's Vineyard and they canceled it. So
yeah, that's true. That is true.
So I think it's more so like they don't value the show, even if all the shows aren't necessarily doing the high numbers.
About that
like this show, for whatever reason, is always bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah, and Married to Medicine is one of its kind, meaning that at least Real Housewives of Potomac have a better chance of surviving because of the Housewives franchise.
Right.
To where Married to Medicine, they tried to franchise it and it
didn't work.
It wasn't good. I ain't gonna hold you. Listen here.
I liked Married to Medicine LA.
And truth be told, maybe you need to give it more seasons because I am a believer of give a show 3 seasons off top and see what happens. But Married to Medicine was so good season 1. Truth be told, Married to Medicine is probably it. I think the problem with Married to Medicine, which y'all have expressed, is that they gave Dr. Heavily too much creative control. Because I remember Married to Medicine, I can admit, watching Married to Medicine from season 1. And since season 1, we probably peaked at 5.
Okay.
We probably peaked with the whole Dr. Jackie thing. And then from there, it just been like just
a slow decline.
Then Dr. Heavily took us to hell.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? like, I mean, it is what it is. But truth be told, I still enjoy the show for sure.
Same. So Toya, T, and Dr. Mimi all meet up for lunch.
Yeah.
Toya gives T her invite to her ball, and because she doesn't want to have to choose between her friends.
Yeah.
T says that they're still hurt and some people can't get over the past. That's your man too, girl. Toya asks, what's up with Dr. G and pressing these charges? And T says it's Greg's decision. Toya asks, where is the grace? There's been times where Tisha has gotten out of control and we physically had to restrain you. Toya asks if it's possible that T would be open to sitting down with Quad to discuss boundaries. T says that she has brought that up with Greg, but he doesn't want to talk about it. Toya asks, okay, but what do you want? Like, are you going to just walk away from this friend group? Like, what is it that you want to do in order to maintain basically in good standing with the ladies?
Yeah.
And T says that's up to Greg. That's up to you if you guys want me around, pretty much. And Toya says in the confessional that she doesn't know many women who silence themselves and allow their men to speak for them.
What do you mean, Toya? I know a lot of women that way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think Toya is in a position to where I think she is so far removed from who she was in the earlier seasons that like now Toya is Toya. She is a household name for Married to Medicine, right? But I remember when Dr. Eugene had to work overtime and overtime and overtime and overtime and overtime to get y'all taxes situation fixed and things like that. And then you really had no say in how much he worked or basically anything that had to be done. We got to move into this house and we got to sell this house and we got to do this and things of that nature. So I don't understand why Toya don't understand Sweet Tea standing by her husband.
Well, I can understand why Toya feels that way because Toya was never one to mince words. She's going to say what she want to say, regardless if it's going to be disrespectful to her husband or not.
Now,
so Toya is very outspoken about her feelings when it comes to any situation, and I think that a lot of women are going to choose their marriages over a friend group and even a TV show.
Well, let me answer that directly before I continue on. Even though she may not be the one to mince her words and things of that nature, that's one thing that Toya got a lot of flack on for earlier seasons of. But
that's what I'm saying. She don't understand because she don't do it.
So because in the earlier seasons, people would look at Toya as some type of gold digger, as somebody that's been like, you go basically work Eugene to an early grave and things like that. Don't get it twisted. Because there's someone on the show to disrespect more, unfortunately, with Sweet Tea. Don't let us not forget the earlier seasons of Married to Medicine as if Toya was one of the most respected wives on the show. She wasn't.
Right.
She was made fun of by Dr. Jackie, Dr. Simone, Dr. Heavily, all of them basically saying, you ain't got no job. Even Phaedra came on for one season and said, your profession is basically tennis player. You get what I'm saying? So let's not forget that, like, Toya, you are in a position to where more times than not, before you started making a lot of money on Married to Medicine, that you really had to go with what Eugene had to say. Now, to your benefit, to Toya's benefit, she's married to a guy named Eugene and not to a guy named Greg.
Right.
So basically, she has the freedom to not mince her words. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To where Dr. Greg have shown us from season 1 and on that, hey, when you really don't mince your words, he's going to allegedly drag you down the stairs. Dude, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to put that on them. They gave us that information. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying, that you have to sometimes submit, Toya, even though I understand what you're doing for the show. You're basically being a spokesperson for her, basically saying, hey, you need to, what do you want? You need to understand that everybody's not married to a guy named like Eugene. So not a lot of people, especially, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it, right? Sweet Tea, you went into Dr. G's DMs and things of that nature, and you chose to put yourself in that situation when it comes to dating Dr. G. Dating someone who makes more money than you, moving to a whole nother city to where you're from the DMV area, he's in Atlanta, you move into his house, right? So there's not going to be a lot of, unfortunately, there's not going to be a lot of equality when it comes to partnership when you're moving into this man's house to where a side of the closet still got quad old clothes in there. Unfortunately, that's the reality of it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's the reality. Compared to Eugene and Toya, she can afford to not mince her words because she grew up with Eugene. She have 16 years of marriage with Eugene. She has children with Eugene and things like that. So Toya need to understand and see the situation for what it is. That basically, Sweet Tea, based off what she said, her tagline was getting to the money. Well, if you're getting to the money and access to the money, then more times than not, you got to go with what the man says. And I have to respect Sweet Tea for not being in opposition of her husband. So basically saying, hey, it's what Greg wants. Because at the end of the day, you ask me what I want. Obviously, what I want don't matter because Dr. G is going to start yelling at me and start calling me a child and start making me feel less than. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Eugene and Scott check on Dr. Greg.
Oh, boy.
Eugene says that he didn't reach out because he's the type who needs to cool off. So he thought that Dr. G probably needed some time to cool off. There was a rumor that he called the police, and Dr. G says, why wouldn't I? He came charging at me, so simple battery charge. And Eugene says, well, he didn't touch you. And Dr. G says no, but, with attempted assault, you could serve time, pay a fine. They all think that's kind of serious, but Dr. G thinks that what happened to him was serious. Eugene tells him, well, I'm not a cop caller. And Dr. G says, we're grown now. He tried to talk nice to the dude, and that's what the guy did to him. Eugene feels like King stood up for his lady who was being disrespected. And Dr. G tells them, what he wants. He plays a song that he wants to be set free from the BS, and he want to get on with his life now. He got a brand new wife now.
Listen here. Set me free. I want to be free. Chilling with my wife now. I got a brand new wife. Listen, I ain't gonna hold you. The song was bad.
Yeah.
But once he got to the whole, like, I want to get on with my life now. I got a brand new wife now. I was like, I can feel that, though.
Your toe was tapping a little bit.
Listen, I ain't gonna hold you.
My shoulders was moving
I ain't gonna hold you. I did not want to tap my toe. But once he got to that drop of the song, I was like, that's a bar.
Yeah.
Get on with your life now. I got a brand new wife now. But I would say, hey, Dr. G, that song is a lie. Okay, you can't say you want to get on with your wife now and then come back to Married to Medicine. Like, listen here, I understand a lot of people want to say, hey, Quad is not married to medicine. Yes, she's not married to medicine as a wife to a person that is married as a medicine guy, but she is married to medicine as in the show.
She built this thing brick by brick.
Brick by brick. Like so even though she's not married to medicine as in married to a guy who's in that profession, she is the show. Yeah. Right? Like at the end of the day, she is the show. And she's entertainment. Listen, there's no one that's gonna give us these dialogues that give us these speeches to where she talk about she bled out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all cut me deep, I bled out and things like that. She said that like, you know, you are what I am what you want to be or something like that. I'm just like, I never heard these bars before and I love it. And I love it. Listen here, even though I love all these speeches, I still think my favorite speech is the Sister Circle one because that's the one that really kickstart all of this, right? To where she basically talked about how, you know, these are my sisters and I had nobody doing my divorce. And I'm just like, wow. Yeah. They just had to stand there. But look, man, this is what us guys go through when we have guy friends and things like that. When we have guy friends who don't want to take accountability and instead of actually being like, I made a mistake and things of that nature, they play us a song, right? We just sit there and we just rock out. You get what I'm saying?
Well, how do you feel about Dr. G pressing charges?
It's weak, but at the end of the day, I'm like, only press charges if somebody put hands on you. Yeah. Right? My thing is this, right? I think him pressing charges or looking to at least press charges,
like considering charges,
have nothing to do with his danger, have nothing to do with his safety. It had everything to do with, you know what, if this is your guy, I'm gonna put something on your little boy toy. You know what I'm saying? I think that has something to do with Quad. It had nothing to do with him. He straight could try to tell us he took off his shirt and charged at me. It got nothing to do with King. He did not take off his shirt to charge at you. He was on the beach. Yeah. His shirt was already halfway on. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I think even in that he's doing that in her. I think he did that in the height of his emotions more than he did when he wrote that song and played it for us. Yeah. But shout out to Sweet Tea for holding the camera and supporting her man during that time because I wouldn't have been able to hold the camera up, to be honest. Yeah.
So Quad is hosting the pool party for the ladies. She sets her rules for the pool party to grab a cocktail and don't bring up the past. Okay. Simone says no matter what, you're coming to Toya's party because we're going onwards and upwards, right? They had a whole chant that they did. Quad says that she may not be present due to Greg saying that he might be filing charges. Okay. Toya asked her to reconsider, and Simone says that everyone has to own their part. King apologized the next day about things going too far, about how Dr. G was a person with real feelings. Yeah. Toya brings up her meeting with T, and Dr. Mimi explained that there was a lack of accountability on Sweet Tea's side, and she couldn't say she wanted to move on, and you know that was kind of an answer in and of itself. So Contessa wants to move on, not make a big deal of what happened in Florida. And Toya says that T doesn't know what she wants to do. She feels like T is putting her in a position to make her choose between the couples, and she doesn't. And if T is going to put her in that position, she's not going to choose T. Heavenly and Toya, not Heavenly, Quad and Toya have been through a lot, so it was kind of a big deal for Toya to say that she would choose Quad.
What is your thoughts on that? Because I really didn't like this conversation.
I mean, it felt like a meeting with the bosses coming together and your performance plan, pretty much. Like, if you're not going to say that you want to get on the good foot with us and kind of come around and do the necessary work to mend things, then what are you really here for? We'll just stop hanging out with you. We'll stop inviting you to places, and we'll see if you'll be on the show, pretty much. It does kind of feel like they used her for what they could, and if she's not going to stick to the program, then she can get lost. So,
one thing I did not like how they represented that meeting. Dr. Mimi, for you to be a new face, not even a new face, but for you to basically just be new to the group and things like that, the way you represented that meeting, I don't think it had nothing to do with accountability. At least not in the way that I'm picking it up. I can understand it from this perspective if we go off of what Blair just said, right? Hey, in real life, you would not be in the same room with someone who filed charges or potential charges on you. In real life, you wouldn't have to be forced to be in the same room with whoever you don't want to be in the room with. But when you choose to do reality TV, one thing Blair says about Potomac is that there has to be conflict and then there has to be a resolve. So basically how we do reality TV, we kind of put aside our personal feelings when it comes to like our real life. I know it doesn't make sense, but this is what you get paid to do. You get paid to show your life. You get paid to be put in these awkward situations that you would never put yourself in. You get paid to come to a resolve from those situations that we may put you in. And I think that's what Toya is basically talking to, in the sense of, hey, I had to do a lot on this show that I didn't want to do. But at the end of the day, I showed up. Me and Quad are still friends, or me and Quad came to a resolve, at least when it comes to in real life. If you said anything about my husband, if you said anything about me, we wouldn't even be cool. But I still show up to work. And I think they are viewing Sweet Tea as they, in my opinion, as they always viewed her, as immature, as a child, as someone who's basically a scam they way into a husband. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they don't respect her decision, because they're like, hey, who are you to say no as basically a rookie of the show? You don't get to say no, you don't want to film with us. You don't get to have your own power over what you want to do when it comes to, I want to be with this group, or like, I don't want to be with this group. Because at the end of the day, you have no rank on this show. And truth be told, that's just how real life happens. That's how reality TV happens. So that's why when Blair said it felt like a meeting of the bosses, it felt like, hey, if Contessa can be here with Heavenly, if Quad can be here with Toya, if Simone can be here with Jackie, even though they really do not have real beef and things like that, but if all of us can basically put aside our differences, who are you to come and basically be like, you don't want to film with one of us? Like you don't have that rank to pull, especially since we felt like we didn't have that rank to pull. So listen, it's just how the world spins, I guess. At least the reality TV world spins, you know?
Gotcha. So Dr. Jackie and Curtis visit Phaedra. Mm-hmm. Curtis goes down to the basement while the ladies talk.
Okay.
Jackie says, acknowledges that they hurt Phaedra, mm-hmm. and it hit her hard when Phaedra said that no one checked on her. Phaedra told her it really had nothing to do with you, Jackie. Just Heavenly is very shady.
Yeah.
Jackie thought Heavenly told Phaedra, and she agreed to Apollo coming. Mm-hmm. Phaedra says Heavenly loves to see people in bad situations. She is the devil's daughter.
Okay.
Jackie asks if Phaedra will come to Toya's event, and Phaedra doesn't want to be around y'all. Mm-hmm. In the confessional, Jackie says Phaedra knew that Apollo was coming, and she knew Shek was coming, and it was intentional that she brought Shek to make Apollo jealous, and it backfired on her. Phaedra says that there is no moving forward with her with this group. I think that Phaedra got her contract to come back to Atlanta, so she said, bump y'all.
Yeah.
I ain't got to deal with this.
That's true. I could probably make more money and work less.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I say this about Phaedra, right?
Uh-huh.
Is Phaedra right? Yes. But is she, but also a dead clock is right twice a day. Mm-hmm. Right? I think Phaedra learned that if Heavenly is Satan's daughter, as she described her on the show, right? Then Phaedra, you listen here. I think you met your match and basically met like someone who will go lower than what you would go. Mm. And Phaedra's not used to that. I think Phaedra's like, I've done some things. I have been basically in the driver's seat of a lot of bad things when it came to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But I don't even think this is the pot calling the kettle black, because I think she look at Dr. Heavenly and the way they operate on this show, it's like, oh, I thought I had no boundaries, but y'all would really take it to hell. And I'm just like, yeah, Phaedra, if you can't handle it, you shouldn't handle it. But at the end of the day, it's not like we're going to miss anything that you was doing. She said she brought a lot to the show. They showed us her birthday for her son and basically the sound bath thing. She did not do nothing for the show.
Yeah, and I will agree with Jackie that I do think that Phaedra knew what she was doing,
of course,
by bringing Shek around and knowing that Apollo was going to be there. Like, she was doing her thing, but things just spun out of control.
Yeah.
And Phaedra wasn't going to take any type of accountability that she, was a part of the mess in some type of way.
Yeah. So, but at the end of the day, don't make this, at least from my perspective, I'm not defending Apollo and his feelings and things like that, because truth be told, Apollo shouldn't have never been introduced to us at all.
He shouldn't have agreed to go on the trip. Why would you want to come?
Or to the reunion. He shouldn't have been. I should not know who Apollo is, because Married to Medicine was the first time I've seen Apollo, because I did not watch Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I'm like, I really don't know who he is. I really don't understand his significance. But it is what it is. Mm-hmm.
And that's all we got.
Listen here, I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment. In the comments below, answer this question for me. Do y'all think Sweet Tea will be back? I think Toya fired her to her face. Mm-hmm. I think Toya coming to meet with her was basically, she was sent by Dr. Simone, Dr. Jackie, the head honchos, talk to her, try to convince her to, hey, even though it's an invitation, let her know that she has no decision or no power in this this invitation. That she better be there for this event and things like that.
And that's all we got.
Hey, I see y'all next week when it comes to Married to Medicine. Subscribe, like, share, comment. We may do some deep dives. I'm not sure. I may take a week off of deep dives and stick to Married at First Sight. I don't know. Sometimes I just wake up and just be like, you know what, Blaine, let's record. You know what I mean? See y'all.
Bye.